Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the new subscription box that I have received called Hooks and Needles. I know that I have been putting out a lot about it, but today I'm going to show you the pattern that I made and talk about the pattern and talk about the yarn and a little bit more of a detail. Remember that you can get this subscription box. There'll be a link in my description, and then there is a Summers 20 code where you can get 20% off your first purchase. The knit and crochet boxes are $33.97. They have a $75 value of yarn and material in there. But then also this subscription is a pausable one. So if you feel like you're getting too much and you're behind and you wanted to wait, you can pause the subscription and then take a couple month break or however long you need, and then restart your subscription when you're ready for some more projects. This is the first box that I received right here. It's this cute little pink one. This is the pattern book cover, and the yarn that I got, I now don't have any that aren't in a bundle. I have this leftover bit here, is from Portugal. It's a merino wool. I'm pulling my son's desk chair over. I decided to first start with the intermediate project, right? Because one of the really cool things about this subscription box is it starts out with 3 levels of crochet. Each of these patterns were created for crochet and are crochet patterns. That's one of the things that I kind of didn't like about other boxes in the past. It was like the pattern was designed for knit, and then somebody tried to design something similar in crochet, and I always felt like the knit one was either fancier or better. You know what I mean? Whereas these 3 projects were specifically crochet related. The easy one was a headband, the intermediate was this cute little lovey, and the hard one is this basket. So I started with the intermediate right into the middle, and everything that I saw in this pattern I was able to do and do well. I'm not trying, but I'm just saying I feel like it was a good pattern. I read through the pattern. I looked at the different stitches. I looked at their very many diagrams, and I was able to get through the pattern in just a few hours. There was one part where I think it was just teacher head. It was the end of the day, and I was kind of struggling to understand the shell pattern. I don't know why, because once I got it going, I was like, Summer, you do this all the time with the star blanket. But I was just kind of having a hard time figuring out how many double crochets to make before I did the shell. But because they do have these very colorful, detailed pictures, I was able to count the double crochets. So I was able to complete the project. I did do a few modifications. I will show you my finished project and tell you the modifications that I made. So I made this lovey. The first thing that I did is I shortened the number of rows. Actually, I think they have you do 12 rounds for the little blanky part. And on the 12th round, I decided to do a round of single crochets. I felt like it was getting long enough and that it was cute and baby little enough. Looks like a little bunny in a dress, that I just decided to leave the 12th round a round of single crochets. The other thing that I did is when I make my amigurumis, I do the spiral way of making them. So this pattern, just like Cute Animals book, that So Cute or Two Cute Animals, has you finish around and chain up. I don't think I have a personal reason why I don't like doing it that way. I just don't. But so I was able to complete this pattern and still have it look super cute. Doing the spiral, I really liked that the amigurumi face was simple. I am not very good at embroidery, and I feel like sometimes they're just so detailed. And then just 2 little arms. Again, I did I did it with the spiral, not the chain up. Ears, the next chain that I did, so the first chain was I change was I did a row of single crochet. I did the spiral way of amigurumi rather than finishing around and chaining up. And then I decided to give my bunny a little bow. And so this used up all of the gray and just a little bit of the blue. So this is how much I have. I had a full skein of the blue left. So and I would say like maybe a third of my other blue skein, because you get 3, 1 gray, 2 blue. And I decided to start the basket weave. I feel like I will have enough to complete the next level project, this little basket. That's one of the concerns somebody had brought up in the comments, was that they felt like they didn't have enough yarn to complete the project. And I think 2 things can play into that. One of them may be tension. If you are a very loose crocheter, you're going to use up more yarn than if you're a tight crocheter. And then other thing, maybe hook size. I know that for a while, I didn't really understand initially about hook sizes, and I just grabbed one. And this pattern, the intermediate one with the bunny, it did call for a 5mm hook. And I did use, oh, I got a stitch on here. Let me pull it off. I did use the hook that was provided with the kit. I always like to do that. And I did crochet tight. The other thing that I think maybe played a role in how much yarn I had left over from pattern 1, making the bunny, is again, I did not do the last round in double crochet. I knew that I kind of wanted to try to get 2 done, and double crochet is a lot of yarn. And I think it looked fine. So I guess I feel like there was plenty of yarn. I am only this far in the 3rd pattern, so I'm not 100% sure, but I do feel pretty confident that I'm going to be able to complete 2 patterns. So if you are someone who tends to crochet really loosely and use a lot of yarn, go down a hook size. And you can just do this for yourself just to kind of get an idea of how far down you should go. Like, get yourself a generic 4-weight worsted weight yarn at a 5 hook and crochet yourself a little swatch. Then go down a hook size, keeping that yarn, and go down until you get to a place where you can start to see the real difference. Now there's no gauge with this pattern. A lot of times, especially if you're making clothes, a pattern will give you a gauge and say, this is how many stitches. If you were to crochet, let's say a 4-inch by 4-inch square, you should have this many double crochets in that 4-inch by 4-inch square. And that is going to give you an idea of how loose or how tight you crochet. If you don't have anywhere near the number of crochet or double crochets, or maybe you're 3 or 4 short, that means you are a loose crocheter and you are going to get another smaller hook. You're going to have to move down. But if you are someone that has more than the number of double crochets they recommend in their gauge swatch, that means you need to get a bigger hook. So I do feel, in my humble opinion, that there was more than enough yarn for me to do 2 patterns from this booklet. I did have to do a tiny bit of modifying. Like I said, you can see in this pattern that there is more blue dress than on her. But I think she looks fine. I don't think it hurts the pattern or the design for the last row to not be double crochet. And then I knew that I would have enough, because in my mind the whole time I also wanted to make the basket. The other really cool thing about these patterns and having this pattern book or access online to the digital pattern or a tutorial is that you can make this with other yarn. I know that Hobby Lobby has a really nice, I love this yarn, worsted tweed. I've gotten their gray before for other projects, and you could go to, I would say, a good comparison if you wanted a more reasonably priced yarn. Go find yourself another worsted weight acrylic tweed, and you could then make some of these other projects. Of course, the yarn that comes in this project is luxury yarn. This is what I jokingly say, this is some bougie yarn. This is a merino wool. This is a more expensive yarn. To be completely honest, I personally was a little skeptical to do a baby toy in the bougie yarn, because I just think of a baby chewing on it and spitting up on it, and then having to wash it. So honestly, if you were to do it all over again, maybe a good idea would be to use your bougie yarn in the first and third project, and then use an acrylic tweed for that. And you know, the other thing is, because there's 2 blue skeins and 1 gray, you don't have to have your basket or headband be all blue, because the basket's in blue and so is the headband, and you only have 2 skeins. You could do something like do some of like maybe the base in gray, in the rim and the handles in gray, and then the rest in blue. Or when it comes to this headband, you could do one of the twisty. Basically, you make a bunch of strips and you kind of braid them and twist them together. You could have done a couple of those in gray, so then you would have had an interlocked blue and gray pattern. And that way your yarn could stretch comfortably to 2 patterns. They do have yarn on their website, Hooks and Needles, that you can go to and order. I was not, when I was looking, and I wasn't looking super well, able to find the exact merino tweed that they gave in the bin. But like I said, this is a recommendation of what they recommend, but you can use any tweed or any, if you want to keep it with the bougie merino wool, order yourself some more merino wool. They do have acrylic options on there as well. So I always like to say you for sure can get 1 solid pattern out of here. But if you start monitoring your tension, your hook size, and take into account the number of repeats or rounds in a pattern, you could probably get conservatively 2 projects done. I feel very confident to say that I'm going to be able to do the bunny and the basket. The patterns were very easy to read. I was able to understand everything that was in it. I like the patterns that I like these patterns because they have abbreviations in them and they have words. You know what I mean? So it tells you things like until the end of the round, where some patterns rely heavily on abbreviations and symbols to relay what you're supposed to be doing. This was a good mix of abbreviations, symbols, and then English to help you know what to do. Yeah, that's really all that I was going to say about this video. I can show you again my finished project. The yarn was very lovely to work with, and the baby lovey came out really nice and cute. And then I made mine because I felt like she had a dress, like a little bow in her ear. And this was a very relaxing, enjoyable project. I had very stressful days at school. You know, being a teacher, I work mostly with students, and so parent-teacher conference day are adult days, and that's sometimes hard for some personality types. And so I came home and was able to just pick up my crochet, relax, and have a good time, just melting away the stress of the day with my crochet project. I didn't feel overly challenged to where I was getting more and more upset. It just came out very quick and smoothly. I do have a really cute video that my daughter helped me make. It's on my Instagram, if you know how to do Instagram. I don't even know how to tell you. I will look to see if I can include a link to my Instagram. It's also Summer's Tips and Stitches. And we did this like stop motion assembly of this little bunny. I am trying to get one on YouTube, but they didn't let me use the same song that Instagram used. And I had to change that. As for the hook, my last bit of review, this hook is 100% a knife holding crocheter hook. If you are someone that, like me, that holds with a pencil hold, you're stuck holding way down here. Now, could I do it? Did I do it? Yes. I was able to crochet the whole time. I'm trying to get up a loop to show you guys. Like, you know, this is how I crochet. I crochet holding like this. Now, it was a little awkward. It didn't feel comfortable. So I found myself naturally, as I was just sitting and relaxing, switching to the knife hold. This is the way that this hook is made to crochet. And I typically don't crochet with the knife hold. It's not how I typically crochet. But it did feel more natural to do it with this hook. So I would say this: if you're stuck in your ways and you're a pencil holder, don't order these hooks. Hobby Lobby has a few other brands I've seen were like this. I think Hobby Lobby has one that's like a hard wood plastic with a little nub thing in the middle. But if you are a knife holder, this is going to be a very comfortable hook to crochet with that way. Sometimes, depending on the project, like if I'm working with Bernat Blanket extra yarn, that real thick stuff, I will hold like a hook for that. I don't know why. Is maybe the hook is way too fat that I use for that. But this is definitely a hook for that, for knife holding. You see that, how it has that little... this part of the hook, the head of the hook, very smooth. I had no problem with it. Sometimes I feel like with cheaper hooks, the shape of this like hook part is kind of weird and it catches or splits the yarn. So, I mean, it could be that the yarn, this crochet hook, it was good quality and it didn't split the yarn, but also I know very good quality yarn doesn't split. So it could be both, or it could be the fact that I was working with some squishy bougie yarn. But yeah, I really did enjoy this. I did really enjoy this pattern, these patterns I've been working with. So that is that. Please, if you are interested in giving hooks and needles a try, please use my affiliate link down in the description, and yeah, check them out. And also, if you're not interested in hooks and needles as a subscription, they do have a very full website of patterns, yarn, hooks, crochet needle or knitting needles, project bags, all kinds of wonderful things. And they are putting together, and I don't have all the details right now, some Black Friday bundles or holiday sales. Because remember, if you have not only yourself, you can make a list and tell somebody that these are things you would want for Christmas or holiday. These are great things that you can get for other crafty friends or family. I know that my sister and my stepmom and my mother are all crafty people. And so getting these as gifts will be nice. Okay, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.